right, guys, thank you for tuning in. This is Teddy Talks Day 2 at RE Plus 2025. And I've got an amazing guest today on my show. We're here with Peter Hardt from Hardt Electric out in Chicago, Illinois. And guess what, guys? We are showing aces again all today. Now, you can have these playing cards brought to you by APsystems. That's who's sponsoring us today for Teddy Talks. So, yeah, let's get into it. Welcome, Peter. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thanks, Teddy. I appreciate the opportunity to be here today. It's an amazing event. This thing is over the top. I've never been to RE Plus before, and it's just like, wow. It's just breathtaking. And, you know, a little bit about me. I'm a third-generation electrical contractor that got into the industry right out of college and started exploring in solar in about 2007 and just caught the bug, if you will. Yeah. I mean, everybody who gets passionate about this, I've seen that over the years where it's just like something kind of shifts in them and they see there's a deeper meaning to doing this work. And for me, that's what it is. I mean, I find this exciting. I find this, you know, I see a lot of people with a lot of passion for trying to better the experience for human existence. And I just to try to be a part of it. And, you know, grateful to be here today.
Well, I've had the pleasure to be out to Chicago a couple times, and is it Glenbrook or
Glenview?
Glenview, where one of your fun projects was. We were there as APsystems support, and it's a beautiful innovation technical hospital named Chest, and so we have a lot of success there on that project, but. Not only that, I mean, I've got to meet your father. I got to meet the guys and crews that work with you and be hands-on in the field with them. And there's some amazing employees there, and they do some very technical, detailed work. Now, it is a union shop, so they are meticulous on everything they do. And it was one of the cleanest, most organized job sites, the plan sets, everything. So I'm not sure what you're doing different, but it was definitely inspired by generations of technical people. So tell us a little bit about your company, how you have grown and transformed through the last couple of years.
So it starts, I mean, with my grandfather. I mean, he started rewinding motors back in the 30s and 20s, and it was always trying to take care of the customer, find out what they need, but also offer that kind of service level, family-oriented piece to it. And then what ends up happening with that is the guys that work for us take ownership. And through them is where the real magic happens. These guys own their projects, they take it personally, and it's theirs. They want to give it to somebody. But you got to give them the opportunity. You don't want to handcuff them with too many processes or procedures. You have to have some level of measure, some level of expectation. But if you don't unlock their creative side, you don't get the best. And when you're giving them that opportunity, like one of the electricians you met on our site, he did half of his design in his own time because he went home, spent the time, drew up the drawings, didn't just punch in, punch out like the union guys got the stigma for. These guys actually own their work. And I try to find guys that do that. And it's not, you know, I'm not saying everybody doesn't do that, but it's hard to find the people that have that passion and want to succeed, but also want to have value to what they bring to the table. And you know, for years I've worked with consultants and other organizations to try to grow that in our organization. We're a small shop right now. We used to be a lot bigger. We had a lot more guys that had ownership of it. We're in kind of a transitional stage in our, you know, call it 50-plus year existence as an electrical contractor. But as it pertains to the solar side of things, it just unlocks that opportunity to, as you described at Chest, there's so many different facets to it that made it so that we would, you know, not just drop solar panels, but actually integrate it with the building, be respectful of their space, operate at times that, you know, off and on, they were literally operating the building. It's a very high-functioning training facility that imports their doctors throughout the world. So at times we were kind of limited to what we could do on site. So it was a wonderful challenge, and the building is a gorgeous building. If anybody has an opportunity to see it, it's one of those unique-looking architectural masterpieces.
Yeah, and I know that, so that building, like, they are doing amazing technical educational work, and they, like you said, they are influencing doctors of the future
Yes.
of current procedures. But under, I mean, these guys have duplicates or replications of operating rooms, ICUs, emergency trauma centers, and they are performing in that capacity when they're training, and they're training under pressure, with monitors, with everything state of the art. And it's impressive that not only are they doing that inside, but they're powered, and I think they're almost going to be a net zero kind of setup the way they've got it going with the solar. But they have the best tech on the roof with amazing Maxion panels, and we may be talking to those guys here later today. But you've got Q2Ts, microinverters on the roof as well, and it's just an amazing building. It's gone live. There is more information coming out about that building, not only video that we shot and interviews we did, but Powering Chicago brought it up. Tell us a little bit about Powering Chicago and kind of what they did for you on that side, what they do for the Chicago industry and the solar power out there.
So Powering Chicago is a new, or I wouldn't say it's new now, but it's been around now for about 3-4 years, I think. But it was the IBEW Local 134's approach to trying to change the dynamic of how they reach the market. They historically were the billboard, posted at the game, advertisement, and they kind of decided overnight to switch it up and try to do these short videos, do a lot of LinkedIn tie-ins, and create a better understanding of what a union electrician can do for them, being the end user. Because the stigma's out there and the idea that every electrician's the same, we had to create and help the general public understand there is a differentiation between a union Chicago electrician than there was just the average so-called electrician. I mean, the extent of training, 5-year program, over 10,000 hours before these guys even hit the ground as a full-blown journeyman. It's like you don't fully grasp that until you experience it, and you can't really share that with people when they're just looking at a number. A number, you know, we live in a consuming society which just looks at a number and thinks that, well, I bought it here, it should be the same everywhere. And it's like, no, it's nothing
not,
like that. The people and the training and the extensive just continuing education, all the expectations of what a union electrician in the 134 market is expected today is a lot. And they keep trying to grow that market and educate the public. They come at a premium cost, but there's a reason for that. You don't send a kid to college without expecting them to come out with an education. Well, you don't hire a union electrician without expecting them to know what they're doing when they walk on that job site. So that's part of what Powering Chicago was about, was to just expand upon why.
Yeah. Now I had the pleasure, because you set up an amazing interview or opportunity to go tour that IBEW site, and I'll tell you what, that's probably the only second union building I've ever been in. I've been to my local union in Utah, but this campus there is amazing. They have thousands and thousands of students there, and it's only a $500 registration for the first year, and then by the time they go through their first 12 weeks, I think it is, or 10 to 12 weeks, and they turn out as a first year, and they have a job. And they're placed, and and then in 3-4 years, they're a full-fledged journeyman. It's amazing.
They've got now 3,000 people a class trying to get in. They only take 70 of them at a time. It's become a hotbed of attraction, and just in the last 6 to 9 months. About a year ago, 2 years ago, you could have probably gotten in with very little challenge, but it's just really interesting in the last year or so. Talking to the apprentice director, it's gotten really, really attractive for a lot of people, which is exciting. Because I mean, at the end of the day, there's so many opportunities within the industry. It's not just pulling wire. It's not just piping. It's customer relations. It's sales. It's development. Like in the case of our site, there's design that these guys are given.
Yes, it's impressive to see all the intricate little aspects they're doing. They're building little solar grids. They're building. They're bending pipe. They're learning how to pull wire, and they're learning all the basic stuff. But they get super detailed and technical, and like you can ask those kids questions, and I'm like, I had to study afterwards, after I had my licenses, after I had all my certificates, and then you're like, okay, I've got to figure out what is that? How does Ohm's law come in? How does the PV come in? What breakers do I need? And it's all self-education about. I'm NABCEP certified in electrical license and contractor's license, but man, if I would have went to a union shop or even had building trades back in school, I had a little bit, but I didn't take advantage of that because I was already swinging a hammer at an early age. But I think that would have elevated my opportunities a little bit more. But now I'm doing it later in life, which is fun. It does remind me I still need to do my CE credits because my license is up this year, so that's exciting. Tell us about how you got here. Why did you get here? You entered or put your name in, or your marketing rep, Carrie. She's amazing.
Yes, she is.
We'll give her a spotlight out there. But tell us how, like, she kind of nudged you a little bit. Hey, let's do this.
So, yes, I have to give all the credit to her for being here today. Carrie has been in the industry for over 40 years, and Carrie's been a heavily, not 40 years, sorry, that'd make her 10 years old when she got in. She just seems like an old soul, and she's been in it forever. But the fact of the matter is, she was heavily influential in that market for years. And about a year ago, things just kind of shifted, and she kind of changed directions in her career. And in the midst of it, she had reached out to me because she started her own little marketing firm. And at first I was like, okay, I'm not really, we're a small organization ourselves right now. How much can I really afford a marketing person right now? And I said, you know what? My dad told me years ago, if you could ever hire her, hire her. So.
Smart man.
Listen to your dad, right?
Yeah.
So anyways, I went about the idea of asking her, okay, what would it look like engaging in marketing together? And she made it relatively easy. And so I said, sure, have at it. So we engaged, and then she saw this competition with you guys, and she said, hey, why don't we take the videos we have, the information you have on the one project, and submit for it? And I was like, okay, sure, great. And now it's media packages, and it's media kits, and interviews, and all this stuff overnight. Just her being involved. Literally 3 months ago, I've gotten more publicity and more activity in my life than I've had in the last 20 years doing this industry, trying to market ourselves. So in that sense, she's been a godsend, but it's like, wow. It's a whole different world that I wasn't really focused on, but it's been a delight because, like I said, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't have had this experience of seeing how vast this market is, because in Chicago, and the little RE Plus thing that we had a couple of years ago was nothing like this is.
No, and it seems like it gets bigger every year, and you come in here and you see these massive booths. We'll see some of that back behind the stage, some BTS on some of these, and these reels coming out. But if you're here in the presence, as you can hear behind us, it's the buzz of the show, and it's just this low dull of people talking, engaging, interacting, and it's the first hour it's open, and it's all day long the next 2 days. And so it's impressive. I think everybody's tired because there was amazing parties and events last night, and so I know we're dragging a little bit, and it's just barely getting caffeine in us and going. How is that site that we went out and saw? It was at a it's called a net zero site, or it's a national or state park.
You're talking about the net zero, it was a ground mount. We incorporated the Q-cell panels with the APsystems. We were doing our first test with the QT2s on a 208 version, and it's doing well. The site is performing well. We had one minor little mishap, but it's been cleaned up, and the site's outperforming what was expected. Due to its physical limitations, we had to condense the arrays, so that microinverter solution plays a higher role due to shading issues because of the two pitches of the arrays. But we're also in the market where it snows, leaves fall in place, a lot of outside factors, a lot of different cloud levels. These things all play a role in the performance of the system, and those APsystem microinverters just play a better role of getting the maximum out of that space.
Well, I know that, so we got to walk that site, and we were there 2-3 hours. Beautiful rainstorm on the way there. It was gorgeous, normal Chicago weather, right? Yeah. It's like, it was torrential rain, and you're like, I got to fly the drone over. We got some amazing footage. We had a good conversation about that, and you guys actually took in. This is what impressed me about that site and the way your company works is you took. I mean, you used the word ownership several times a little bit ago, but you took ownership of that site and you said, this is what they want to accomplish. And you went above that and said, okay, we're constrained. We know we need to hit X for production, X for what they need. We're going to increase that and take ownership and make sure that they're going to get that plus more. And then it outperformed your specifications. And so you're actually giving them more back than they even thought they could.
Yeah. And that's, that's years of trying to do this. It's not, when we started out in this industry doing the solar side of things, nobody was doing it in the Chicago market. And the few that were, it was, outskirts. And so we were exploring, and we certainly made our mistakes along the way, didn't build everything perfect, but because of the years of experience of testing and trying different ways of doing stuff, you just get a sense for the environment, what's necessary for that application. And, just like a conversation I had earlier today with a potential customer, they said, well, we're looking for 3 competitive bids. I'm like, then you're probably not looking for us. We're not looking to be the low ball number for you. What we are offering is we're going to get it done for you. We're going to do a high quality service, and it's going to work for you at the end of the day. It may even exceed what you expect. And that's usually our goal, is to try to exceed what they expect. But, that's a delicate balance between convincing your guys, making sure your guys are timely in getting their work done, because they will take their time if you let them.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
So there's that fine line. It's a delicate dance.
And I think it's important to know when you have those interactions with customers that a lot of them are looking for cost. But when you start talking about value, and you guys, Hardt Electric and APsystems, and when you're partnering with a great panel and racking, and there's so many different components to go into a system, that when you can package that together, not give them only the best cost for the value, and it may not be the lowest number, but at the end they'll have the best system with the better results. So
always the O&M in mind. Operations and maintenance over the longevity of the system is, one of my electricians that he worked for me for years, that I still miss him to this day. He did great work for us. Made that very clear. Build it with the end in mind, so you have to build it backwards. How is it going to function for the next 20 years? Who's going to touch this thing? Is it going to be exposed? You put a 1,000-volt system up there without any protection against it. Half the guys that go up there don't know what they're doing and what they're about to step into. So putting something in more like a microinverter structure has a better chance of keeping these guys safe. And as well as fire department, as well as anything else, any other person that may come in contact with this system. Because solar is it's on. I mean, you can't turn off the sun. I've yet to figure that out. So at the end of the day, you have to have alternative ways of making sure that people are safe when they're in contact with this stuff.
Yeah, it is impressive to see the actual physical power of a solar system. If you've been in the industry, you've seen it evolve itself from direct DC string inverters from 1,000 watts, 1,000-volt systems down to now a controlled managed AC.
Yeah, we've done 1,500-volt systems. Yeah. Those are very scary.
It gets if you've ever seen an arc flash or
I've seen arcs.
Oh yeah, it's impressive just being around them. You're like, oh yeah, that was impressive. And
it's real power.
Yeah, it is,
and it will kill if you're not careful.
Yeah, and I don't think people take it serious enough. But that's where that training comes in.
I think that's 100% true today.
Yeah,
there is more than ever this complacency around electricity, and there was a healthy fear of it back in I would say in the 1950s and 60s, when expectations were like, okay, we need to protect people from this. Today's, everybody just thinks they can, it's not a big deal and anybody can do it. And it's like, okay, I see your point, but at the end of the day, hopefully you don't get hurt in the process.
Yeah, and I love having the home improvement stores on every corner. It's amazing for my construction or my work, but it's also, you get into some projects and you're like, oh, chucking a truck touch this, or
Yep.
you're like Dan in a van got a hold of it. And you're like, okay, I have to be careful about what I'm looking at, and you have to start from point A and walk all the way through the system before you can even service or maintenance it.
Yeah.
So
We've come across that other customers or not customers, but other people have installed equipment, and then they've called us and asked us to come out there. We're like, well, we can come out, but we don't know what we're about to inherit, so we have to bring this up to code, and that may cost you more than I can price. I can't just price that over the phone. It's like taking on a car that's never been tracked for decades, and then all of a sudden you're asking me to figure it out and give you a price. It's like we have to take the thing apart to understand what was done correctly and what needs to be corrected.
Yeah.
So it's not, it's hard to explain that to customers at times because they're like, well, why doesn't it just cost X? It's like, we're not a commodity. You can't just buy us off the shelf. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, and I think that when people realize that when they call you or ask you to come look at a project and they're like, okay, this is a serious company. These guys I know will take care of me. They've got the time in the industry. You've got some amazing reviews. You've got great relationships in the area, and I know you don't hunt for work, and you've got a lot of work coming in. But it's always fun to get those calls and those referrals from past customers and those word of mouth. And you're like, I know when I get a call and they're like, hey, so-and-so told me to call you, or I get tagged in a Facebook post or whatever it may be. And I'm like, all right, I'm doing something right. I don't know what it is yet. I haven't figured it all out. And so I know that you're getting those phone calls, and even this client this morning, I'm sure that's how they came to you, is from a referral. And so you're definitely doing something right in your company.
Yeah, and I try to remember that you got to stay in motion to create the opportunity, and it doesn't mean you just pass up on everything, but you also have to be realistic with what you can and cannot handle. And I've certainly overstepped that boundary in the past, so I'm trying to do a better job of being realistic what we can do to support and help others, but also be cognizant that my guys can only do so much at a certain period of time and still offer the same services that we're trying to shoot for every time.
All right. Now, a fun question. Pizza, pineapple or no pineapple?
So that's an interesting question because it depends on the day and the mood. I can't say yes or no to either.
Okay.
Because, I have a flexibility to my appetite. Some days the pineapple, and that sounds like a good idea. Other times it's like, no, we got to go with the classics.
Okay. I think I know what we're doing for lunch. Now, you are Chicago, so are we talking deep dish, or are we like...
So the classic for me is everybody always loves the little Malnati's. Is always considered a staple. And, that is one good. There's so many different varieties nowadays there. I mean, I even enjoy Detroit pizza. I'm not going to pretend like I'm I'm all over the place with that stuff because it's like they all taste good.
Awesome.
I won't eat the frozen pizza. That just is a waste of time. But
well, I lived off the 99-cent pizza. I don't think you can do that anymore.
I can't knock it. It's
It's
just
usually,
if I have a choice.
It's usually midnight or later, and we're like, what are we gonna eat? I'm hungry. And then you throw.
Or
it,
you're
right?
giving it to the kids.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, they will eat anything with cheese on it, so it doesn't really matter. I've become, I'm going to say friends over the quick, short time, 3, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, whatever it's been since I met you, and that relationship's evolved pretty quick. And I think that some of that will show up in this interview, but it's impressive how quick you can get to know somebody in the industry when you actually just talk and ask them questions and spend a little bit of time with them. And so thank you for that. Thank you for the relationship there. And I know it's going to be ongoing even past APsystems, even past these projects. And so it's one of those things that I cherish, is those ways to get to know people and be connected to other people. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate it too. Your passion for this industry is just intoxicating.
Yeah.
It's fun to watch you on your YouTube and just getting into this whole process of just trying to educate the world on what it is that could help make life more sustainable for the future.
Yeah.
Because it's not just about us.
Yeah, it's not, and it's about our children and our generations past. And are we going to save the planet? Are we going to change the industry? Are we going to change the power and the conditions for them? Maybe. Right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't ever think I can save the planet, but I certainly think I can influence the outcome of how long it's going to last for the human race.
Yeah, and I think we all have to do our little piece and step.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And this is, showing up here. Granted, I took a jet to get here, and we can get all into the carbon levels of impacts, and it's way beyond my understanding at times.
Yeah.
But what I do know is that what I'm trying to do today is better for my children than what, in the past I would have probably done.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you, Peter, and welcome to the show.
Thank you,
I know
Teddy.
that it was we met quick yesterday for a hot second, but it's impressive, it's exciting, and if you're here, come see me. We're in booth V10131. APsystems is just on the backside. Again, we're going to have a happy hour a little bit later today, between 2 and 6. Come out, see us. We are going to have a little bit of games and fun. Come spin the wheel, get some swag. Come enjoy, come meet me. If you want to do a rapid fire on my couch, we're going to be doing that a little bit later today. If you want to get, if you want to get,
I got to see that.
a little under fire. But again, like we're talking about ownership of what you're doing, of how you're working, and just like Hardt Electric, we really want to create that ownership for you and your project. And we have amazing opportunities for that. So if you want to learn more, come check us out. Again, like, subscribe, get on the Teddy Talks bandwagon, because we're going places and we want to take you with us.
I hope you liked that last video. And if you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe right here at this channel to see all the amazing updates coming from Teddy Talks. Now, we're powered by APsystems, and you'll see a lot more coming from us. Hope to see you soon.